Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mirabai, for that lovely introduction. So I'm going to share my screen shortly. Second, please. I want us to quickly watch this video before we comment. This jury that I went to watch today, I learned a lot. My eyes were open. This first guy was learned a lot. My eyes were open. This first guy was draftsman, really. This jury that I went to watch today, I learned a lot. My eyes were open. This first guy was draftsman, really. He came with 120. Was the problem? This guy pasted on the walls, pasted on the table, pasted on the floor. Everywhere was full. When it was time for him to defend his work, like open his mouth and speak, his brother was stuttering. I was wondering what happened. Like, if you did your design yourself, you should be able to defend your design. Do you understand? It was really bad. Then there was this other lady, Esther Ini. Auntie came to the studio with 25 sheets of paper, 2 and 5. I said, President General Ma, you're meant to having 60, 54, 45. What happened to you? Well, I heard them say that all her sheets were complete, and it's because her building was a small scale, so she made some drawings on the same sheet of paper. But her designs were good. When it was time for her to defend, people that were passing by the class came inside to watch. That's how good she was. She told stories about the design. I was so engrossed in the conversation. It was amazing. At the end, the lecturer now said that all of us should clap for her. I said, Lord Jesus, cut me this soap. I want this kind of testimony for myself. But it opened my eyes to see that there are 2 different types of people. One had great design, but could not defend his work, couldn't speak publicly about his design. So we didn't really understand or enjoy his design as much. Then this other lady, she had great design and she could defend her work well. They asked her questions, she answered confidently. I just kept on saying, aura for aura, aura for aura. It was really nice, honestly. Just pray that people just learn how to do their public presentation as well as defend their design. Because what happened to that guy? I don't pray for it for anybody, honestly. Really. Chibawa, juries. Next. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to be turning on my video right now. And you confirm if you can see me. Can you see me? As well as hear me? Can you see and hear me, please? All right.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Opara Benita Maria Kelechi, and I've been given the privilege to take you on this session on public speaking. So you're going to go right into it. I'm going to talk about the video subsequently during this session, but since we don't have enough time with my slides, first I'll let you why speaking matters. Public speaking helps you in building your confidence. It helps you to enhance your career opportunities. As architecture students, as well as architects, we should understand that your career doesn't end at just behind a desk designing. For you to go far in terms of your career, you need to learn how to sell your skills that you have, as well as sell your design. So that imputes the fact that you need to have good public speaking skills. It also improves your communication skills with your clients and with your colleagues. It helps you to inspire and influence others. I'll give you an example. In my first year of master's, I just finished a presentation in class, and someone walks up to me, a lady, and she says, "Oh, Kelechi, could you teach me how to present in class or public speaking in general?" And I was taken aback. That was the first time when I noticed that people see what I see as normal, as a skill. But I realized that I had come a long way from being timid to being able to speak in front of people. Having mentors, watching a lot of videos on public speaking, this has built that public speaking skills. And that's why I'm here today to transfer that knowledge that I have to you, every single one of you on this call. The first thing you need to understand as a public speaker is that you need to understand your audience. When I was given this task to do, I had to find out who exactly I will be speaking with. Please, that lovely person should mute themselves. It's quite distracting. Thank you. So you need to understand your audience. You need to understand the age range of your audience. You need to understand the caliber of people that you're speaking with so that it will help you in gathering your thoughts together and putting your speech together. Then secondly, you need to understand how to engage your audience. You need to know how to tell stories that will capture your audience's attention. I'll give you an example.
Again, Kelechi, thank you so much. I trust that maybe a few of us have questions for her. So if you have questions for Kelechi, you can just do well to drop it in the chat box. I'm going to give us some minutes for that. So while that's ongoing, I'm going to reiterate some of the points that Kelechi mentioned. So, when she was talking about the whole learning how to speak in public and the fact that public speaking, you don't necessarily need a stage for it, it's very true. As little as your friendship circles, the people you get to talk to, that is public speaking. So far, you're not talking to yourself, you're talking to the public, it's public speaking. So you just need to learn how to get better and more comfortable with people around you. Like she said, practice. I don't know if it's just me, but when you know so much about a subject matter and you're called to speak about that subject matter, you find it very easy to talk about it because this is something you know about. It's like me coming to ask you to tell me about yourself. Nobody can tell that, no one can say much about another person more than the person. So if I'm calling you to say, oh, tell me about yourself, you'll find it easy to explain things about yourself. You find it easy to say things that people don't even know that you can do, that you do, because you know so much about yourself. So getting abreast with the topic that you're going to share just enables you to be able to stand more confidently when you speak about it. And then there was something, there are two other things that I would love to say in addition to all that Kelechi said. The first is you can't grow more than you know. So if you want to be a better public speaker, embrace reading, embrace knowing so much about the subject matter. Learn. You cannot speak more than you know. If you learn how to read books, if you want to improve your vocabulary, then you should be reading books. You should be reading books because if you haven't heard it before, maybe from a conversation or from what you read or from what you watch, you cannot know about that word. So learn, increase your understanding, increase your knowledge. Just be so invested in knowing more about what you want to speak about or about a particular subject matter to just make you more abreast to the topic. And then it makes you to just gain confidence whenever you're called on to speak about something. The same goes to your jury. It's your design. Know so much about it that nobody can tell you otherwise. You know how to present your design, ask questions from your superiors so that when you're presenting your design, you're very confident about it. And then the second thing I'm going to say is, please look your best. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I dress so well, I'm very confident. The way you dress can influence your confidence level. So if you're dressed properly and you feel like, oh, I look good, you won't even be bothered about your clothes. But trust me, if you're wearing a clothes that you're not so comfortable about, you won't even notice that you're giving attention to how you look more than your speech. So ensure that you dress in a way that you're confident about your appearance, because it can also impair the way you would speak or present during a lecture. Yes, so I think I saw a question while I was speaking, and I'm going to read it out and allow Kelechi to respond to it. So Kelechi, I trust you're still on the call.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so someone is asking, how do you solve the issue when you cannot look straight into the audience eye when speaking? So the person is asking, how do you solve the issue? Or I can't look into the eyes of my audience, what do I do?
Okay, Thank you so much for that question. I can see the question in the chat. Remember when I mentioned this during the class that if you are having issues looking directly into the eyes of someone in the audience, for example, if you're speaking to people shared platform, for example, an auditorium, you can look straight at the wall at the back. Do you understand? You can look at the wall at the back. It's going to help you to focus your mind on just that wall. Or you can pick something in the room and look at it, but within the level of your audience. If your audience are in lower, for example, a classroom, you can be looking at something at the back, maybe a poster. If it's for your lecturers, instead of looking at the person in the eye exactly, you can look at something on the same level as the person till you're able to look at someone in the eyes. Do you understand? I don't know if I answered the person's question. If I answered, just text in chat, I can see. Understood. All right. Perfect. Mirabel, I'm done with that question. Should I?
Yes, so another question came in. I don't know if you can see it from your end, but I'll just read it out for every other person to hear. So the person is asking, I tend to use a lot of hand gestures when presenting. Some people see it as dramatic, but I believe body language is a crucial part of effective public speaking. What are your thoughts on this? Should I reiterate or did you hear me?
I heard you. I heard you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to call you by the name. That's Kumi. I don't know if I pronounced it well. When you say a lot of hand gestures, there's a level to which you should use any form of gesture that you're using. If it's excessive, that's when it could seem dramatic. But if it's balanced, you notice that when I was talking, I used my hands at some point. I even stood at some point and I used my hands. Excessive use of gestures can distract your audience from the focus of your speech. Do you understand? If you're following, just text. I'm still responding to your question either ways. So excessive use of hand gestures can distract your audience from what you're saying. So that's why it may tend to be dramatic in a sense. But using it to an extent, and that extent now, there's no measuring tape for that. It's just something that you have to do over time. So if the people that say that you're being too dramatic, if you notice that they are actually criticizing you constructively, not just to defame you, then the next time you're doing a presentation, tell them to take a video of you and watch how you would react to that video. Would you see it as overly dramatic or not? If to you it doesn't seem as overly dramatic, then that's fine. Do you? But if you notice that based on the video, there's evidence that this was excessive, then you try to reduce the gestures. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer, Kelechi. So please permit me to also add this to the person's question. I watched a video on public speaking, and the speaker was saying that if you want to really judge yourself or be a judge of how you present, take a video of yourself making that presentation prior to you climbing the stage. Take a video of yourself making the presentation. The very first time you want to watch the video, turn your phone down and just listen to your voice. Listen to how articulate you sound. Do you hear everything you're saying the way you want it to be heard by another person? The second time when you want to review the video, turn off the sound totally and just look at yourself, look at your gestures, look at the way you move your hand, the way you move your body. Just be so free when looking at it and be the judge of yourself. Then finally, listen to it both with your audio and your video and then judge it. So if you're comfortable with the way you look, the way you sound, the way someone is listening to you, so someone that's not looking at you, how do you sound to them? Someone that is not hearing you, how do you look? How is your presentation? If you're comfortable with it, and then ask for opinions too, because I believe that opinions also matter. Not all opinions, but you should ask people that will give you good opinions to hear their point of view, because that can also influence it. So I think that's my advice to the person asking the question. So also try to get your own judgment by taking a video of yourself before you make any presentation, and then try to listen to other people's ideas. So I'm also going to read out the other questions. I think about 2 more questions came in. And okay, so Kelechi, I hope you're still on the call. Sorry, Kelechi, I don't know if you're still on the call. So please also add I watched it. While I wait for Kelechi to respond, I will read out the other 2 questions. Someone is asking how to handle a situation where the audience doesn't seem interested in what you're talking about, and how to grab their attention and carry them along. And another person is asking how to identify between constructive criticism and someone trying to bring you down when giving you feedback. And another person is asking, I don't know if I'm the only one, but a lot of times when I'm making a presentation, even as basic as reading a speech straight from a booklet, I tend to unconsciously fidget a lot. No matter how confident I'm feeling, how do I handle this? Kelechi, please, are you still on the call?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
slight
okay. So I'll
intermission.
reiterate the questions, then I would leave the floor to you to answer.
Yeah.
So the first question is,
Okay.
the first question is, how do you handle a situation where the audience doesn't seem interested in what you're talking about? How do you grab their attention and carry them along? The second question is, how do you identify between constructive criticism and someone trying to bring you down when giving you a feedback? And lastly, the last person is asking that when reading a speech, even though it's straight from a booklet, he or she unconsciously fidgets a lot, no matter how confident the person is feeling. So how can someone handle this?
Okay. Those are 3 questions, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I'm going to be answering them. I took notes of some of them. The first question is, what do you do in a situation where
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I think the moderator and our speaker there is a particular problem with himself. So I think they will join us very soon. Thank you for your patience.
Apologies for
can you
the.
all hear me? Sorry for
Okay.
that slight.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Just 1 second, please. Please still confirm that you can hear me. Please
Yes,
confirm that you
just
can
make
hear
sure
me.
you
All right. So we have 3 questions here. Let's get straight back into it. My apologies for the intermission. You said the first question was, in a situation where the audience don't seem interested in what you're saying, I mentioned you can use anecdotes. You can, and to be honest, with practice, with practice over time, you'll be able to tell the type of audience and what to do in every situation. So it's not a one-size-fits-all response that I can give you. But I would say is try to infuse some form of comedy. And even if you're speaking to them and they are too silent, you can use that as comedy. You can say, why is this place so quiet? Like something, okay, let me give an example. I think an example works. You can start speaking and then everywhere is silent. You ask them to engage in something, or you try to ask for volunteers to display something that you're trying to explain to them, and nobody's coming forth. You can say something like, I wonder why this place is so quiet, or the way this place is so quiet is making me feel very what's the word? Very fidgety. Be open to your audience. Let them realize that the person standing in front of them is also a human being too. Do you understand? It's not a robot that is speaking to them. It's a human being that's like them. So they should be able to connect, try to connect emotionally with your audience.
Sorry, Kelechi, are you still there? We sincerely apologize for the technical issues that is ongoing. So in the meantime, we would move on. And then when Kelechi comes back in, we can give her a floor after the second speaker. So it's my honor and privilege to make welcome our second speaker for today. He's going to be speaking to us about architectural softwares and their use and how we can implement them as students. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your best reactions, your best emojis in the chat box. You can put in a reaction. I know it's a virtual space, but please let's make our speaker feel welcome as I make welcome Glory for his presentation. Over to you, Glory.
Okay, so if you just confirm you can hear me, everyone.
Yes, we can.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so
In 300 level, a lecturer told us a story of how he was trying to mark that class. He doesn't usually watch football, but he realized that his client, based on research, that his client is someone that loves football and particularly loves Man U. So he had to go and find out things about Man U if they were having a match or any of those things, so that he'll have a basis for his conversation. So you need to have a base that connects you with your audience, using stories, asking them questions, just to understand your audience. Moving on, you have to learn to prepare your speech. A lot of us find it easy to just, permit me to use this word, shalaye, and go up on stage and just do anything we have in mind when it comes to public speaking or a classroom presentation. But you need to understand that a public speech is like you're cooking a pot of soup. You have your ingredients together. You need to know how to put the ingredients together to make that pot of soup, when to put the ingredients together, and how to align them. So I'm going to divide your public speech into 3 parts. The first is your introduction, then the body, then the conclusion. For your introduction, every single person here, pay attention, please. You can write, it's possible to write, you can write it down because I'm going to ask a few questions after this. For your introduction, the first 10 seconds of a public speech, that's the moment where you're meant to be able to capture the attention of your audience. Based on research, we realize that an average human being has about 8.25 seconds of attention span, which is slower than that of a goldfish. And it has declined from 2000 to about 2015. So in that introduction, you should be able to capture the attention of your audience. I'm very sure many of you, when you came on this call, you were not expecting to watch a video at the beginning of this class. You were probably going to say, oh, this is probably going to be one boring talk or public speaking. But that video was a form of hook to capture the attention of my audience. Then moving on to the body, you present your ideas in a sequential form. We realize that when we are having conversations and maybe you want to gist about something that happened to you with your friend, you tell the story from the beginning to the end. There's a progression. With that same enthusiasm you have in telling stories to people, transfer it to your public speech. Imagine that whoever you're talking to should understand the way your thoughts are. So you have to get your thoughts together, put them down on paper. If you have a journal, it's going to be good for you. Put them down on paper and arrange them in accordance so that there's a flow in your public speech. Then lastly, conclusion. You need to learn to summarize your key points that you had mentioned in the body and in the introduction into a shorter version. And repeating your points will help you in emphasizing certain things that you want your audience to remember. And it also help your audience in understanding that you're trying to emphasize on a particular thing in your public speech. I hope you're following. If you're following, please just react in the chat room so that I'm sure that I'm not the only one talking on this call. Let's move on. Sorry. Okay. When I was trying to put together this public speech, I asked some people a few questions to see how people, the type of people that we have when it comes to public speaking. And I realized there are 3 types of people. The first set of people, they don't know how to express themselves, and they also lack confidence. This could be due to maybe insecurity issues and all of those things, or just being shy, being a naturally shy person. The second set of people are people that they don't know how to express themselves, but they have this level of confidence. So even when they are talking, their thoughts are not put together, but because they have charisma, people tend to listen to them. And the last set of people, they know how to express themselves. They're probably writers, but they're not speakers. They know how to arrange their thoughts in accordance, but they lack the confidence. So we're going to teach you today how to overcome that nervousness, because majority of people, about 70% of humans on earth, based on research, actually have the fear of public speaking, not because they don't know how to gather their thoughts together, but because they have a sense of shyness that every human being naturally has, but it now projects itself when it comes to their public speaking, that they don't know how to speak to a public. So firstly, what can you do to overcome your nervousness? You need to practice. My family members have probably seen that part of me the most. When I'm about to do something on a big stage, I call my dad, my mom, everybody, you have to sit down and listen to me. Or if I'm doing a slide, I send it to them. I tell them to check through it. It's just something. That circle, it could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be your colleagues, just a small circle of people. Rehearse with them to help you build familiarity before you transfer that knowledge that you have within your circle to a larger audience. Then secondly, breathing techniques. Watching some people in their public speech, they know what they want to say, but they don't know how to pace themselves, to the point that it seems like they're panting, like they're doing exercise when it comes to public speaking. Those of you that are guys here that go to the gym, you know how you feel when you're carrying weight. After that moment, your breath has increased. So you're breathing faster than you should normally do. For ladies, maybe you like jogging in the morning. When you're done, you realize that your breath is faster. Do you realize that there's some people that when they're talking publicly, that's how their breath pace is, and it's not ideal. So what do I do on a personal level to help me calm myself down, which I also did before I actually came on this call, is I practice breathing exercises. Type it in the comment section or in chat, breathing exercises, because it's very important. There are different types of breathing exercises. There's the Wim Hof's breathing exercise, and there's the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. We're going to practice this at the end as well because of time. So the 4-7-8 is basically taking in a deep breath for 4 seconds, holding it for 7 seconds, and letting it go for 8 seconds. So you're breathing in, holding it, breathing out. It calms your nerve. The third thing I would like to discuss is visualization. Imagine yourself before you go on a global stage, before you go to your jury, practice it in front of your mirror. Practice how the lecturers will ask you questions and how you would respond in a calm manner. Practice how you would like to talk to them about what you're going through or what your design is about. Practice it in front of your mirror before you go to an audience. It helps you. You don't know how. The mirror is my best friend, and I'm going to say it anytime, anywhere. The mirror is my best friend. I practice every single speech for my spoken words. By the way, I'm a spoken words artist. For my spoken words to hosting, public speaking, everything in front of the mirror before I step out. Then lastly, positive self-talk. It's not bad to affirm yourself. It's not bad to remind yourself of the worth that you have. It's not bad to remind yourself that your thoughts are worth it and people should be able to hear your thoughts. Do you understand? Encourage yourself. If you are good with something, you're good with your design, but then you're having issues with public speaking, do not downplay the fact that, oh, you cannot speak publicly. Use that design to encourage yourself that since I can do this, this is likewise possible for me to do. Affirm yourself, encourage yourself. And this is not the motivational speech that doesn't carry weight. This is you reminding yourself of who you are as a person, of the skills, the characteristics that have been ingrained in you from birth that you just need to develop. Everybody has it in them to be a good public speaker. Every single person on this board, every single person has it in them to be a good public speaker. So you need to remind yourself that there is a possibility. I was once timid. In primary school, I can't explain it to you, but I was very timid that I would shake so much, stutter in front of peers, in front of my class. But I had to tell myself that I see myself getting to a point where I'll be on a global stage. What do global speakers do? What do people that are already on the global stage do? They are public speakers. Some of them own businesses. Even if you're trying to pitch your business to a client, that is public speaking. Every single person here has once in their lifetime done a public speech, gisting with your friends or 5 people. That is a public speech. So don't think that it's until we climb a stage where there are 100 people in the audience, that's when you're publicly speaking. Every single one of you here, except you don't like gists, every single one of you here have once in your life done a public speech. So you have it in you. Let's move on. The next thing I'd like to discuss is how to focus on your body language. Eye contact is very necessary. Once you're able to focus your eye, connect with the audience, there's a level of confidence that your audience will assume that you have. You may be shaking. You may have been shaking backstage. Once you climb onto that stage, or you may have been shaking in your hostel, once you get to that jury, realize that the moment you have eye contact with somebody, I don't know how many of you here, I want to see it in the chat. How many of you here, while you're talking to somebody, because the person is having eye contact with you, you tend to see the person as very well put together. This person has so much confidence. This person has so much aura. I want to see you react, because I'm very sure that I'm not the only one that thinks that way. Or when you're talking to someone and they are having very, very good eye contact with you, you feel like the person is listening to you. Every good public speaker should be a good listener. Next thing I'm going to talk about is your gestures, your hand movement, the placement of your feet on the ground. Be solid, be rooted if you're standing in front of an audience. Use your hand, what you would normally do when you're having a conversation with someone. Use your hand gestures. Use your hand to explain something. If you're, for example, making a presentation on a board, you can use your hand to show, oh, this is what I'm talking about. Let them just assume that you are the most important person in that room and these people in the audience are listening to you. So own that stage, own that platform, own that spotlight. The next thing I want to talk about is your posture. You need to learn to stand confidently with an open posture. I don't know if I can move backwards. If you're able to see me. Can you see me? You should be able to, you're not standing slouched with your shoulders. You're not standing slouched with your shoulders. You're not standing like you're a lazy person. You're standing like you own the room and you're using your hand gestures to talk to the people that you're addressing. Do you understand? Your posture is very important. And another thing I noticed is movement. If you start tapping your feet on the ground, that shows that you're probably nervous, you're anxious, or you want to run away from that place. If you are playing with your fingers, you're fidgeting, that also shows a sign of lack of confidence. So what do? You calm yourself down with the breathing exercises I mentioned earlier. When you want to emphasize a point, you move closer to your audience. You can be talking to, let's imagine this pen is my mic. You can be talking to a set of people and then they are listening to you, but you're not necessarily moving from side to side. That shows a lack of put-togetherness. So you need to stay in a place, use your gestures to emphasize or to create tension. You move closer, you repeat what you say, you walk towards somebody and ask them a question. All these things, they make you have an aura of confidence. And that is what I pray and I want every single person on this call to have at the end of this class. So let me sit down. I'm a bit dramatic. So let's move on to the next point on my slide. Practice makes perfect. Practice allowed to enhance your clarity. Your diction is very important. Your pronunciation of words is very important as a public speaker. And you can work on it. Don't say, I was born this way. No, you can work on it. You can work on it. I didn't always speak like this. But coming to the West, I grew up in the South. So coming to the West, I met people who had schooled abroad, people who have schooled in top primary schools. So the way they spoke was different from where I was coming from. But that did not pull me down. That made me realize that, okay, watching videos of public speakers, I realized that these people have a way they talk. I'm not talking about people that have maybe American accent or British accent. I'm talking about born and bred Nigerians. They just had a way they spoke. They had good oratory skills. They had good diction, and you can work on it. I'm going to put in the chat box at the end of this session some YouTube channels that I watch just because I want to learn public speaking. I want to be better at public speaking. And some people I also follow that have helped me to grow to this point that I am in. Then record your performance. Everyone has a phone, by the grace of God, or a device, at least if you're on this call. Learn to record yourself. One thing my mentor will always tell me is, you may think in your head that, oh, you're being a good public speaker until you place your phone on a tripod and record your movements. You realize that your feet are tapping more than they should be. You realize that you're swaying from side to side when you shouldn't be doing that. You realize so many things because in that moment, your phone is capturing everything about your essence in that moment. And so you watch it, you review it, you work on yourself. You do it again, over and over again, record and review your performance. Then rehearse with friends for feedback. Not friends that would Well, no matter what you do, they will hail you. Friends that constructively criticize what you are doing. If you're not doing it right, they make you understand out of love that this particular thing you're doing, you could be better at it. Rehearse with friends, rehearse with colleagues, have a community. Speaking of community, I will also going to share some resources communities you can join to improve your public speaking at the end of this session. I have a lot in store for you, so just sit tight and relax. The next thing on my slide is how to deliver with confidence. Control your tone and pace. As a public speaker, yes, you should understand time management, but controlling the pace, you're not rushing anywhere. If they've given you a time frame to speak, practice your speech with that time frame and maybe give yourself some allowance. But once you get onto that stage, do not rush. People that rush their speeches, it gives a sense, it's psychological. Your audience may seem like, oh, where is this person running to? Does this person have an emergency? Is this person shy? Is this person scared? There are so many things that are going through your audience's mind, and their faces will show. The faces of your audience will affect you. Just be wondering, oh my gosh, are they not enjoying the speech? What's happening? And it distracts you from the focus of your speech. So learn to be calm. Learn to pace what you're saying. Maintain good eye contact. I repeated some things because of emphasis. Eye contact is necessary. It is essential. Then use your natural gestures. Do not overdo it. Let it come to you naturally. And you can figure out your natural gestures by practicing in front of your mirror and tell yourself, is this thing too much? Talk to yourself. You know yourself the best. So tell yourself, is this thing too much? Is this something I would normally do if I was gisting with someone? Is this something I would normally do if I was standing on a global platform? Is this something I would normally do if I was talking to an audience of 100 people? Use the right tone for your message. If you're asking a question, there's a way to pitch your voice. This class is not enough, I promise you, to explain in details the dynamics of public speaking, but I just want to make sure that so many of you here get value from this call that we're having right now. Pause to emphasize key ideas. Pause to emphasize key ideas. I think this is being recorded, but if you would like to take screenshots of the slides, that's fine, so that you go back to your notes and practice it. Every single person here, I want to hear good reports, good feedback from this class, that you went to your school and you aced your presentation after this call. So you can take screenshots and all of those things.
According to Psychology Today, there are some studies that show people are more afraid of public.
Before we watch this particular video, I want you to pay attention because I'm going to be asking some questions from the video. So yeah, let's start again.
According to Psychology Today, there are some studies that show people are more afraid of public speaking than death. And for a long time, I was one of those people. I welcomed death if it meant getting out of presenting to my peers. I was so grateful that one time when I got laryngitis and couldn't give my presentation, score! Presentations were my biggest fear during school. Speech class traumatized me for life, which is bad enough. Why couldn't all of my presentations just be condensed to speech class? Every single one of my classes made us give presentations. Most people have some sort of fear of public speaking, and I really think that's amplified when you're younger. As you get older, you get wiser, and you learn that while public speaking is scary, it's just the tip of the iceberg. But during school, you just care way too much about what everyone thinks of you. So let's make them stand in front of their peers and be judged. And don't worry, no one will even remember this. But I remember. I remember this girl that gave a presentation in Spanish class about the food she made. All she had to do was tell the class what she made. She choked. So yeah, it's an absolute lie when teachers say no one will remember, because once in a while, someone chokes like this, and I remember. Cautionary tales. I was so afraid to give a presentation that one time for a poetry reading assignment, I went to the teacher and I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Just dock me, teach. I'm a good student. I do my homework. I can take the hit. And you know what she did? She made everyone in class talk about their feelings about public speaking. Then she made us fill out these anonymous sheets about it. This isn't what I wanted. After she reviewed them, she said out of the whole class, one person didn't care about how any of us felt or what any of us thought and would actually enjoy watching us be tormented in front of the class. Everyone else was actually afraid of public speaking and really relieved to know they weren't alone. Then she said, okay, since all of you are cowards and one of you is evil, you can present your poem with a friend standing next to you. So everyone had a friend with them, except me, because I didn't have any friends in class. Yeah, I probably looked like I was the jerk that didn't care. I don't need a friend up here, you wimps. Inside, I was dying. In high school, I took a creative writing course and I thought, it's just writing, right? No presentations here, right? No. On the very first day, we were assigned to write a short story, anything our hearts desired. So we were going all out, letting the juices flow, being completely vulnerable to the page. Only she's gonna see it, right? No. Pencils down, she walks right up to our table, which was me, my best friend, an older guy, and a freshman. Okay, who's presenting? What? Presenting what? No one said we had to present anything. One of us had to share our creative souls with the world. This wasn't like other presentations. No, we were sharing a piece of our hearts with each other, an open door to our creative souls. And I'm not proud of this, but in that moment, I glanced at my friend, spoke the old unspoken friendship language, and we both turned on this fresh meat. We gave this poor, scrawny kid the deadliest death stare. We're older than you. We're bigger than you. We outnumber you. You will sacrifice your life for us. And it worked. Again, not proud, but hey, he buckled. He read his story, which was actually pretty good. He was a good writer. Well done, sacrificial lamb. Okay, who's next? We all had to present our stories. Phony freshman sacrifice wasn't enough. So if you're afraid, get it over with. Don't hold out hope for the end of the world to come next week, right before your presentation. Although, I guess that did actually happen in 2020. Well, what are the chances it'll happen again? So just do it and be done. But if you choke, they'll remember.
That wasn't to scare anybody, but that just goes to show how many of us feel from primary school down to where we are right now. So many of us are probably working, some of us are still in school. But the moment when you're very good with design, you're very good with what you do, but the moment when you're told to present in front of your class, you're like, why don't we just show you our designs? I mean, they said we should design something that can speak for itself. So why don't you just look at my design? Why do I have to talk about it? That's the fear that many of us have. And I just wanted that as a slight intermission to show you that you are not alone. And like she said, just get it over with. But you're not just going to get it over with after this class. You're going to get it over with tips that you're going to get from this class. Do you understand? So let's move on with our slides. How to handle challenges that come with public speaking. Practicing over time will help you to take note of specific public speaking challenges that you personally have. You will learn to manage your nervousness. You will learn to handle interruptions. How many of you remember what happened at the beginning of this class when someone kept on interrupting? And I was like, in that moment, if I don't have my thoughts together, if my slides are not together, if I didn't have my notes, I probably would have said, please, can you mute yourself? And then lose track of what I was talking about. So when it's time to get back to my flow of thoughts, I'm like, okay, what did I say last? Well, because I had my thoughts together, I had my slides with me, I had my notes with me, I had practiced over time. It was easy to flow back to where I had ended or where I had been interrupted. Do you understand? Then engaging a tough audience. 1 second, please. I'm not sure if this is blocking. Yeah. Engaging a tough audience. Taking deep breaths. There are some audiences that you would be speaking to, and you realize that, why is everyone's face so strong? Why are you frowning? Did I offend you? Do you know me from somewhere? In that moment, what do? I look straight at the wall over their heads. I don't look at their faces anymore. Yes, it's still eye contact. Once in a while, I'll look down, look at someone in particular, connect with them on a personal level, then look back at the wall, because I'm not really going to be moved. Your audience are important, but they are not as important to make you forget your points. So you should learn to understand your audience, but don't be too focused on their facial expressions that you forget your points and lose track of your thoughts. I'm going to repeat this, you can write it down. Learn to understand your audience, but don't be too focused on their facial expressions that you lose track of your thoughts and lose track of your points. Do you understand? So they are important. They're obviously giving you feedback to show whether this class is boring, to show if this class is interesting, to know when they're laughing, to know if you are funny or if what you're saying is informative to them, or if you're just totally boring. But do not be too focused on their expressions that you now lose track of your thoughts and lose track of your points. Do you understand? Then handling Q&A sessions. This is the scare of every public speaker. You came, they told you, oh, you have a public speech to present, and you gathered your thoughts, you were brainstorming, everything was nice. You put your thoughts together in a slide. So it was just really amazing. When it was time for the Q&As, somebody will ask you a question that was not even related to your topic, and you have to think about it in that moment, like, okay, how does this relate to what I was saying? But I have to answer it. You understand? So I want you to take note of these points that will help you in handling Q&A sessions, even during your juries. Questions from your lecturers after your presentation. It is important. Firstly, I mentioned earlier, a good speaker is also to be a good listener. You cannot speak effectively if you do not know how to listen and pay attention to the words that are being asked during a Q&A session. Remember to stay calm. It can get scary, like, oh my gosh, what questions do they want to ask me? Will I be able to answer them? So many questions going through your head. But remember to stay calm. Repeat the breathing exercises that I mentioned earlier. And be honest. If you're asked a question you do not know an answer to, instead of saying something that is wrong and making, maybe, let's say your audience is an audience of 100 people. You just answered a question that somebody asked, and 100 people have taken your answer. And it's not everyone that will go back to check whether what you said was correct. They use it to answer someone else. And when they're asked, what was your source of information? They say, oh, this public speaker said it during her last event. But what you said was wrong. If you do not know the answer, be honest, politely say that you do not know it, and then offer to follow up later, and actually follow up later. So one tip I would like to share with you that I use a lot when I'm asked questions, especially during jury, is this. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you to repeat that question. It's not because I didn't hear the question, but because I want to collate my thoughts together. I want to arrange my thoughts in my head so that when I'm answering, the answer is coherent. How many of you have watched Akeelah and the Bee here? Please, I want to see it in the chat. Akeelah and the Bee is an old movie. How many of us have watched it? You have, yes, wonderful. I've seen some people raise their hand. If you notice, Akeelah, that's the main character in the movie. When she was asked some questions, she would tell the panelists, the people asking her questions, or asking her to spell a particular word, she would tell them to repeat the word. And in her head, she's arranging the word, the letters of the word in her mind, so that when she's saying it, everything is put together. That's a very good tip that not many people know about, but now I'm sharing it with you for free. Tell them to repeat the question and put your answer together in your head, so that when you're saying it, they'll be like, this person is intelligent, this person is very smart, the person knows how to answer good questions. It's not like that, though. It's just because you collected OT from Kelechi today. So take note of that. Tell them to repeat the question and then construct your answer in that moment. Moving on, using visual aids. This cannot be overemphasized, especially as architecture students or any sphere of industry that you're in. Using visual aids, I mentioned at the beginning of this session that an average human's attention span is about 8.25 seconds, which is lower than the 9 seconds of a goldfish. I mean, a fish has higher attention span than an average human being. It's insulting, but that's what it is. So using visual aids helps to capture the attention of your audience. So when they're looking at you and they're getting bored of just looking at you, your slides can help. Your design sheets can help. So keep your visuals simple and easy to understand. Don't cluster a lot of words on it, because remember this, write it down. Your slides are not your notes. Your slides are not your notes. Your slides are for key points. Your slides are for key points. You should have your notes and everything, maybe a sticky note that you put on your phone or in your handkerchief, just so that you remind yourself of your lines. But your slides, they should have only key points, because your audience will get bored of reading through your slides if your slides are jam-packed with words. So learn to minimize the number of words that are on your slides and maximize visuals that will capture the attention of the audience. I'm going to share, slowly coming to the end of this program. I'm going to be sharing tips for continuous improvement. The first thing I would like to advise you is, every single one of you here, is community matters. Join speaking groups. And I'm going to share a QR code with the Vice President of NAS and President of SAS. And all of you here, you can join that community of public speakers rather. They share tips every single day that will help you in your public speaking. Learn from great speakers. I can mention a list of people that I watch on YouTube, in person. My mentor, especially Dr. Larry Amodu, Dr. Ocean, there are a lot of them. Barack Obama. I watch, and then there's this guy, Ving Yang on YouTube. I watch his videos just to help me grow in my public speaking. Ask for feedback. After this session, my friends that were on this call, or my colleagues, how did I do? Criticize me, constructively criticize me. And you should learn to take criticism with a good faith, because criticism only helps you grow, except those people probably don't like you and what they're saying is not true. Take criticism seriously and work on it. Work on it to develop yourself. Learn to reflect and improve. And one thing you should pay attention to is that it's not all things that are being said during a criticism that you should take to heart. It's not everything that they say that is necessarily correct. So you choose the one that you want to work with and make do and discard the rest of them. Reflect and improve yourself. Don't be put down by negative comments. If somebody is talking to you, they're telling you what you did that you could have done better, but they're being rude about it, just do yourself like this. Calm down. Pay attention to what they're saying. Extract the juice from the lemon and throw the lemon away. You don't need the lemon. Do you understand? Then record yourself. My public speaking mentor does this and encourages me to do it too. I record myself with my phone, watch it and say, how can I be better at this thing? How can I talk to people better? Because your phone, the camera doesn't lie. Once you have it on record, you can watch it and then improve your skills from there. So what we're going to be doing now, I mentioned it earlier, we're going to be practicing the breathing exercise. Please make sure that before you do this breathing exercise, you're seated, you're in a calm state. Because if you're jogging right now or you're driving, don't do it. I'm begging you. If you're jogging, if you're driving, if you're walking, don't do it. It's not going to be good for your lungs. But if you're seated, you're calm. Let's practice this breathing exercise. You're ready? Breathe in. Breathe out slowly with the bubble. How many of you felt calm afterwards? That's if you did it right. If you did it right, you should feel this calmness on your nerves. That's what I do before I climb any stage. I breathe in, hold it, breathe out. Breathe in again, hold it, breathe out. I'm going to share this slide. I don't know how it's going to get across to people in different schools, but I'm very sure the NAS president would know how to do that. I'm going to share the slides with you so that you can practice it after now. Then your closing and call to action. This picture right here is how every architect is the life of almost every architect. You see yourself holding a rotating set square, or they see you holding a rotating set square, where you see yourself as a warrior. Because we have so many things that we're trying to battle. We have to design, and we still have to know how to sell our skills to our clients. We still have to learn how to publicly speak to people. We still, like, there's so many things that we do as architects that we need to actually take our flowers. Well done to every single one of us here. We are amazing people. And for those of us that are in other industries, you are also amazing because your industries have their specs. Your industries have their intricacies that not many people discuss. But every single one of us here, we are fighters. That's what we should understand. And as a public speaker, it's going to help you to build your confidence. It's going to help you to own your platforms. It's going to help you push you so far in your career beyond your imagination. Every single person should understand that public speaking is important. So remember to moments. If you are done with your jury, take pictures, celebrate yourself, whether it went so great or not so great. Celebrate yourself. You did well. You spoke to people. You defended your design, and that is very important. Collect your flowers, and don't be afraid to accept accolades when people praise you for something that you've done well. Learn it. Learn to accept your flowers. I'm also telling myself, Kelechi, learn to accept your flowers because you deserve it. You're a great person, and public speaking is going to help you be a greater person. So accept your flowers when they are given to you. Then finally, this QR code here, any of you can scan it. You can just use your phone, any type of phone, to scan the code and join the community. They share tips on. By the way, this is my public speaking mentors Telegram channel. So you can join the channel and grow in your prowess with public speaking. And lastly, you've come to the end of this session. I hope you had an amazing time. I'm going to leave this for like 10 more seconds before I change to the last slide. So thank you for your time and attention. You can connect with me on any of these platforms. And if you would like to learn public speaking on a personal level, we'll see how to work around that. So thank you so much to the president of NAAS and SAS. Thank you to everyone who was on this call. I hope you received value from this. As I'll stop sharing my screen right now. And I believe the moderator, Mirabel, will take over from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kelechi.
Thank you to you.
Thank you so much, Kelechi. Please, can you put your best emojis, your favorite reaction? Let's celebrate Kelechi for that amazing and insightful session.